Good morning, good morning. Luann here. I'm just coming on a couple of minutes early just to make sure everything is going okay today. So let me just check and give you a minute to come on. Say hello if you've come on and where you're from. Just checking. That's better. People are coming on. Yay! Good morning, Diana. I keep calling you Diana. It's Diana. Because I've got a client called Diana. And every time I see her, it's Diana. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. I'm all live. Hi, Michelle. Awesome. Yay! We've made it. So let me know where you're from, or let others know where you're from. I'm trying to get the comments up here. Can I do that? Where are the comments? I can't. I'll have to put it on my screen over here. Hope you got your cup of tea, you got your coffee, your iced coffee, whatever your beverage is, whatever time of the day it is where you are tuning in live. I'm just making sure everything's working. I had to come in another way today as well, but it's all good. All good. Hope you got your workbook. Now, if you don't have your workbook, let's turn that music down. You can private message Jamie Pascoe or tag her here in the comments and she can private message it to you. Everybody should have it by now. Yes, Diana. I'm Luke and you're Diana. Awesome. Okay, so I'm turning that down. Making sure all my bits and pieces are in the right way. So hello. We've got people joining us. Lismore, Michelle. You're from Lismore. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Vicky. Donna. Hello. I don't know if you can hear my music, but just getting into the vibe. Nice and early today. We're on time. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn that down. So it's good to get started with a bit of music. I know Facebook doesn't like it though. Whenever you put on music, I think that's why it was cutting out yesterday. It was going in and out. I was having a great time by myself. But and that's the thing with audio. If the audio is crappy, it's like, oh no. Anyway, beautiful ones, I'm going to jump straight in because I really appreciate your time and turning up today. After yesterday's debacle, we won't go on about that. I'm just grabbing my tea. I'm just making sure I'm looking in the right place. I did have to come in live. I'm coming in live from my iPad today. So, sorry, lovelies, no PowerPoints. No PowerPoints today, but let's just see how we go, right? Hey, Lynn, how you going? We're just going to see how you go because really, at the end of the day, we don't need PowerPoints. I'll just explain, and you have your workbook. So I really wanted to first of all go over where you can find things in the Goddess Inner Circle here where you're watching this. So if you scroll down or scroll up, there's a thing called guides. Now everything, over the next 5 days, you can find your homework in there, you can find the replays in there. In the guide, so just go to the guide. It's the first one, so every day you'll see prompts in there. This video will go in there as well, so that's where you'll find everything. Now the replays are only up for another 5 days after Friday, and then it all comes down. So again, I do appreciate people are coming in from different places in the world, so timing's not always great for you, but please watch replays, hashtag replay in the comment, and do the homework. Now I wanted to share with you just a couple of things before we get into the content today. So I said for everybody who is going to do the homework, I've got a special gift for you. Now it's not much homework, right? I'm not going to give you big long things to fill out because I know sometimes they can be a little bit daunting. I appreciate you're busy, but I've got for you these 3 journals for you to download. Well, actually, there's 4. I've got the other one over there. And they are for creatively, wildly creative women and goddesses on purpose. So when you complete your homework, I will give you a link and I'll give you a special code that will get you these for free. So the first one, we have the Abundance Journal, and they're not huge. I'm not a great journaler, I'll be honest. I'm not. When I journal, I kind of do poems, right? Linda, you'd appreciate this, right? Linda in here, she's an amazing, she does verses, right? I like to just do poems or downloads, quick journaling. So I've made these for you. The first one is about abundance, your abundance journal, and I've got some great prompts, and you don't have to write pages and pages. Okay, then we've got the self-love journal, right? We've got the self-love journal in there for you. We've got the ritual journal, because all goddesses need rituals, certain rituals, bedtime rituals, spiritual rituals, whatever it takes, moon rituals, so you can follow those in there. And the other one I have is a dream business journal. Now that one's a little bit bigger, but you can print those out, you can bind them like I have, take them to Officeworks if you want to. These are just little binders that I put in them, and I use these. So that is going to be your free gift for everybody who does their homework, who attends the lives. So you just have to answer the questions. So that's for you. I will give that to you on Saturday, after the live series. So just a couple of things before I jump in. So for those who did do the homework, hello Janice, awesome, good to see you. Just a couple of things that came in. It was like, what really surprised and delighted you? So I'm looking over here. I'm just going to go into the homework, and just imagine you're seeing this on the screen, like lovely presented to you in an amazing way, right? So some of the beautiful women that share, they said, what surprised and delighted you about the first session, hand analysis and purpose, accepting that service is my pathway and I'm living it. I enjoyed learning more about how I can read others and be able to help them. Another one person said, well, I always thought there was more to my hands than meets the eye. I do know I have healing hands. It's what to do with this and my other gifts to serve humanity at this time. And so you're in the perfect place, beautiful. I love this. Someone else said your hand shape, the fire. She's a fire hand shape. That magnetism, right? So if you haven't seen yesterday's replay, go back. It's in the guides. And how your hands can help find your soul purpose. Easiest way ever. Could be a little bit biased. And just absolutely amazing. What we hold in our hands. There are many sayings, however, one that comes to mind is you hold your fate in your hands. The ability to assist fellow brothers and sisters with an insight of possibilities is beyond measure. So they are just some of the beautiful women that put their homework in. So keep going. Jamie is she's my goddess support angel, and she's collating these. So we've got a special spreadsheet. You know, it does take a lot to make this live series happen. We don't just put this up and like, oh, that was nice. I take all that beautiful goodness that you give, and then I put it into a spreadsheet, and we collate it, and you know, we know who's doing the homework and all that kind of thing. Right. So I actually managed to do my nails today. How good's that? So today we are going to go into, right, I don't think I have to do a little recap. Today's session is all about how to turn your biggest success blockers into your biggest paydays. So I want to just do a little bit of probably sharing. I'm going to do a lot of sharing today actually, but I wanted to first kind of calibrate where everybody is at. Okay, like I said yesterday, I love to calibrate where you are at. So most of my work, most of the work that I do is I work with healers, or you could call them catalysts or transformational artists, or people in the healing realm that are here to help others. And I use this modality. This is just one of my many talents, but it's one of the major ones that I use. And so I put that into working with them, finding out how to support them, especially if they have a business. Now, not every hand analyst, like there's a few of us in the planet, not as many as I'd like, but we all use it for different things. Okay, so if you're watching this and you have a special, you're a healer, whether you're thinking about becoming a healer or you are a healer. I mean, healers are healers, right? Or expressing that in a bigger way, and you're wanting to get paid for this gift, let me know. What is the modality that you use most now? Pop it in the comments. I'm going to read all the comments. Pop it in what you do now. And then if you want to be brave, share with us, because I'm going to be brave today. I think some of you have heard this story, but I am going to be brave. Share with us, what do you feel is stopping you from really going for that success, right? Really stepping out, and I like to say step out and shine, and really helping the people that you want to help, and also getting rewarded for that, whatever that means. Okay, so sometimes it means money, sometimes it's doing charitable things for people, but spreading that light into the world. What is the biggest block for you? Because this is the lesson that you want to be on, right? To find that block and to flip it around. So, and I'm just going to make sure, excuse me if I'm looking over here, I'm just making sure I'm getting everything beautiful. Now, okay, so how to turn your biggest blockers into your payday. So the first thing I want to go over now, if you've got the workbook, you can come along with me, is today's more about the fingerprints, right? Yesterday we did a little bit about the fingerprint. We went into the life school, which is your foundation, your flavor. We did our dominant fingers. What else did we do? Hand shape. And all of these things, most of them except for the school, is personality or behavior. And I had a beautiful message from somebody, and she sent me her hands, and we had a look, and she resonated with it, right? Okay, she resonated with it. So, hi Ruiha, Janice. And so, okay, am I being interrupted? Or am I freezing? Just let me know. I don't think it's me. I hope it's not me. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so we're going to start off. So today is more about the soul imprint, and in particular, I'm going to be talking about the life lesson and how it is the key. It's really the key to your life purpose and that expression of that. Now, because I work with healers and I do business coaching with them, and help them create courses and share with them how to market. That's one of the biggest things. Amazing healers, so gifted, and sometimes challenged in how to sell yourself. And it's not selling, it's sharing. So there's certain kind of blocks, and I remember I did it. I'm school of service, remember, so I'm over servicing, I'm giving things away, I'm putting on these events, and it's costing me a lot of time. I'm loving them, but it didn't help my business grow until I kind of went into hand analysis, really, and went really deep into my soul, my behavior patterns, and my design. And so the three things in the fingerprints, if you can follow along with me in the book, you don't need to, you can follow it along later, but they are your life school, your pathway. This is the pathway that you should be on, the pathway to your purpose. It's the school, these things this is the flavor of your life. Your life purpose is that expression of joy. It's when we hit that, we hit that spot, that sweet spot, and everything flows. It's kind of what you're here, it is what you're here to really express. We call it our aim, our objective, our intention, and it's being realized. And then we have to go through our life lesson first. So you can see all the life purposes on your workbook here. I'm just going to bring it up on my screen so I can see it nicely. All your life purposes. And there's 14, there's 12, 16 life purposes. I had to think them. So we have 10 fingers, 4 fingers is 2 thumbs, right? So we have 10 possible life purposes. And why I say 16 is because your school can also be your life purpose, depending on where your fingerprints are. And so there are also 16 life lessons. Some of us have 1, 2, or 3. Some of us have more than that. Some of us have just one. But they all will feel like your biggest block in your life, right? It's the reason why you're not stepping out and shining. It's the reason why you won't deal with conflict. It's the reason why you numb out. It's the reason why you feel like the black sheep of the family or your community. You search for your community. You don't know who these people are. It's the reason why you are not speaking up. Like, it's all in here. It's all in here. But what I do want to say is our greatest gift. Now, that's sort of counterintuitive, but it really is. So I just want to start off, before I go into this in a bigger way, is what was the, like, share with me, what is the intention? Why did you join this live series? I know there's a lot of noise out there, and you found me, or you found us in this community, right? What is the intention? Why did you join this? And because I love to not react. I love to be, what is the word? I'm trying to think of some really special word, but I respond. There we go. I love to respond to what's showing up in the comments here. So if you have any questions, now is your time, right? Now is your time to put them in. But what was the reason you joined, and what do you feel is your biggest block right now? And I'm going to come back to them. I'll read them soon and come back to them, because I feel like I'm going to give you the opportunity to have some hot seats with me. Now, I'll put that on the end. I'll do the 5 days first, possibly on Friday. But let's see. Again, you know, I've got my structure, and then all plans go out the window, clearly. So let me know what kind of blocks that you have. Now, I want to tell you a little story. Okay, I want to tell you a little story, because we've gone over... I want to talk first about the life lessons. Now, the life lessons show up in your life for you to grow. They really are here. They're really your secret spice. So if you're running a business, or if you are thinking about that in the healing arts, or any kind of business really, but my tribe are real healers. And if you just feel overwhelmed with this desire to show up in a different way and to share your gifts, because we all have gifts. They're all different, right? We're all unique, all special. But when you actually resist your life lesson, it doesn't feel good. So our life lesson is the shadow, that shadow aspect. And for those who don't know kind of what I'm talking about with the shadow is this piece of us, like we're both light and dark. Right, so we say the shadow is these pieces of ourselves, of our psyche, that we keep hidden because we don't feel that we're good enough to. We're good enough. That could be part of the shadow. We don't feel that it's safe for us to show everything, right? And there's light shadow and dark shadow. And what I mean by that is light shadow is you can be pushing down a piece of you that you're amazing, that you're actually beautiful, you know, that you're an awesome leader. Now that's light shadow stuff. If you're not embracing those pieces of yourself, that's the light shadow. You're pushing that down. And the dark shadow could be, I'm jealous, right? I'm a cheater, right? And even just saying those words, you're like, I don't want to be those. I don't want to be those, right? But if you flip those around, and if you look at them and you really embrace them, don't push them away, because the more you push them down, the more they'll come up. The more they'll come up and they'll hit you in the ass big time. So you can flip jealousy around as in, oh my God, I'm such a jealous person. But it's like, oh, I want what that person has. And that's okay. There's no damage done to that person. It's like, oh, she's sparking you with the jealousy that's inside. It's like, oh, okay, now I can flip that around and go and do something with that emotion. Right, okay. And it feels dark. It's not dark. There's no dark. We're here to balance these together. And so like the cheetah piece, right? When you're flipping these around, the cheetah's like, well, where would it be a good place to be a cheetah? Right, where would it be? Well, I can think of something now. Okay, so this might be a little bit politically incorrect, but doesn't want the vax, but we're looking for ways to get a fake one, a fake passport, right? That's cheating. That is cheating. But you can see how it's, we can use that in a good way or not, depending on your point of view here. But again, all these dark shadows, we feel like we're not allowed to have them, but see the gift in them too. So the lesson is these illusions that we hold about ourselves that, I can't look at that. And they're in your fingerprints. These are the lessons. And we're here really to flip them around. Flip them around. What do I mean by that? So look in your workbook. Or just imagine an amazing PowerPoint, right? Look in your my ink was here. These are some of the lessons that come up. And they are intimacy, trust, surrender. Okay, I can just do that. Victimization, numbness. We've got self-worth, guilt, black sheep, fear of failure. And even as I'm saying those, you can feel the energies like, so how can we flip them around? Yesterday I talked about master path and student path, right? So the student path kind of life lessons is, say, like not being heard, muteness. That is a life lesson. Growing up, you may never have been heard by your family members, right? Or you could be the other way. You were totally obnoxious and loud but you still didn't feel seen, okay? But normally it's like you didn't have a voice. Where the flip around of that in hand analysis is to be a speaker, master communicator. But you can't get to that point until you really deal with that muteness. I hope you're getting what I'm saying here, right? I hope you're getting what I'm saying here. So we're here to flip it. What I want to say about the life lessons, it's not real. It is not real. We made it up. As a soul, we've made up this life lesson to test us. Well, if we came down into this earth plane and everything was all joyful and fairies and fairy dust and all that, it kind of get a little bit boring. I could do with some boredom right now. But we're here to express and to be challenged and to grow, right? So it's getting out of that comfort zone. So they're not real. We make them up. So, and then we bring in other souls so that we can experience it. So for instance, you might I'll go with the theme of the muteness. As a child, you never were heard. So you'll get a parent who maybe worked too hard, too many other things, not very nurturing, didn't really want to see you as a child. So that's the contract that you made with that. So then you can learn to use your voice in a much better way. And especially, here's the secret sauce, if you're in business, your life lesson is actually what you're here to teach. What you are here to learn is what you are here to teach. Because as you go through that, you know what it feels like to be shut down. And so you could possibly you'll probably attract other people in your life or as clients who want to have their voice heard as well. And they went through a similar journey as you. But you've gone through that or you've worked through it and voila. See, secret sauce. And we also call it, you'll see in there, your mess is your message. All these shitty things that have happened to you, all these challenges that have happened to you, that becomes your message, right? You think it's a mess, it's not a mess. So I'm going to just share, Morena Kaya, I'm just going to share one of my messes, if I may. If I may, obviously. I just need a coffee, coffee for the getting into my mess, and then tea as well. So green tea, I feel I need. So feel into, right? So feel into one of your messes. I'm not going to get you to write it here. I'm not going to do that. Like, that's totally fine. But write it in your workbook. Write it in there and come and get a hot seat. I might do the right. Get a hot seat. Get some coaching, some free coaching from me, and we can bring this out or flip that around. So I need a coffee. Okay. Good, Michelle. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. Okay, so I shared this. How old was Africa? She's 15 now. I think she was about 2. Oh, yeah, no, about 10 years ago. didn't know I was going to share this, but when I was 28, I think it was 28, I was 28 years old. I was living in Darwin. I was being a croupier, a dealer, blackjack, roulette, spin the wheel, that kind of thing up there. I did that as a job, and I met this person who was to become my husband, and then we are now divorced, and we have 2 beautiful children. But what happened, I was up in Darwin, he was from Melbourne. This is the only reason why I ended up in Melbourne, actually. And so back then, I was not as empowered as I am now. One of my lessons is powerlessness, right? Oh, that's the other thing. I want to share with you, these life lessons, nobody can really see them in you. Okay, nobody can see them. Like, you probably would have gone, oh my God, she was powerless, she was a shrinker. No, but I still am in some stages, but now I'm aware of it. So this is the thing with the life lesson. You know when it comes up that you're off course, so you can course correct. Okay, when I'm feeling kind of like, oh, I'm just hiding out or shrinking, I know my life lesson's coming up and I need to do the work. And there's a lot of beautiful healers in here that can help you do the work, right? Hand analysis will identify it. You need to do the other work. So where was I? Okay, so it's not real. 28, we got engaged. It was really a weird situation, to tell you the truth. I think we'd been drinking too much back then. Darwin, you drink a lot of alcohol up in Darwin. And he proposed. So I thought, oh, this is nice. I was like, go with the flow. I don't like any confrontation of any type at all. Not at all. So still working with that, but I'm better at it. Okay? So back then, I just went with the flow. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's get engaged. And then he said, let's go back to Melbourne. I said, oh, okay. Didn't have really any kind of goals at that stage. I did know I wanted to leave being a croupier. I did know that. So I came down here. I had no friends. I didn't know anybody. I was in a town that was a very small town. I actually posted something on my Facebook page. Spent actually 15 years there in the end, but it was a little town. And so I started I did 3 jobs. I was worked in a bar. I was temping as well at this lasagna place that made all the pasta in the office. And I was doing, 2 jobs at that stage. So this is what I was doing, trying to find my life purpose. So in the meantime, when you become a dealer, now I did share, this is what I was saying, I shared this story 10 years ago, up on stage, didn't know this was going to come out, but when you're a teacher or a mentor, you have to put yourself into vulnerable situations. Now, you don't have to tell all the dirt, but kind of seemed appropriate at the time. So when you are a dealer, I actually worked in Melbourne and then went to Darwin. Okay, I forgot that bit. But I worked in the High Rollers in Melbourne when they were just opening it up, right? Crown Casino. And I hated it up there. I hated working in the High Rollers because it was boring. I wanted to be down on the main floor where all the action was happening, and there were a lot of people around. The games were good. And it's actually a terrible, terrible profession when I think about it, taking people's money and the look on people's faces when, don't go there if you don't want to lose your money. That's all I can say. But being around that, I was in the High Rollers, I would do $100,000 bets. One bet, I kid you not. So there was probably 2 people on the table, baccarat. $100,000 bets or $50,000 bets, no problem, right? It's just a $50 chip with a few extra zeros on the end. So being a dealer, your sense of money goes right out the window, right out the window. You're just like, oh, that's, you're playing with plastic, basically, until you cash that in. And I've had people on my tables they get on the streak and they're winning. I'm like, get off. Like, internally, I'm like, get off, go away now, bye-bye. But you've in this addictive cycle, right? It's like, oh, just one more. And then soon enough, 30 minutes later, all the money's come back. I'm like, oh, told you so, right? So anyway, I'm up there. I've got this whole, and the poker machines. Now, in Darwin, or in Australia, actually, as a dealer, you're doing shift work, right? You hang out with other dealers, not those kind of dealers, but hang out with other croupiers. you're coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning, sleeping all day, getting up, going to work. It's this cycle, right? So you mix with these kinds of people, and good people. I'm not saying that they're not, but there's no outside kind of influences. And I think that's when I started listening to Tony Robbins, right, on tape. I ordered them in Darwin. They were on tape. This big box came with Tony Robbins. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a different way. Anyway, so you lose your sense of money. In Australia, you are not allowed to gamble in the casino that you work at, right? So my family, we have a genetic, I'm sure we have a genetic thing of addiction, right? My mum, my nanny, they would have weekends of cards, like they played cards. I ended up as a croupier, so go figure, right? So they would get together with all their other family members and spend 2 days. Some of them wouldn't sleep. Right, the room was smoky, they had money everywhere, kids were just running around. We would, when somebody won, they'd give us some money, we'd go to the shops, come back, and we'd pretty much just do our own thing while they gambled for 2 days straight. So that's part of the environment, I was growing up, and I'm like, oh, so there's this addiction, it's genetic, right? It's in the fingerprints. It actually is in my fingerprints. So I was the stealer, no money, and so I had a couple of friends and we thought, oh, let's fly. I was in Darwin. Let's fly to Cairns. Cairns had a casino, right? Cairns had a casino. And we'd go over there. So, thought we were, again, that value of money it's not real. It's not real. So we went up to Cairns. We spent the weekend there. We probably dropped $1,000 or so, which is not much, we thought. But it is a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. And we lost all that money and came home and thought, okay. And then I came back to Melbourne. So I got out of the casino industry, but I used to go to the pokie venues, right? There's pokie venues all over Melbourne. Every town, every pub had them. It was really interesting. And so you can imagine 28, didn't love her job at all, was kind of forced. Like, I have free will, right? So I was just brought back here, didn't speak up to my boyfriend at the time, didn't tell him what I wanted because I don't like confrontation, and so I was just working my guts out. So first of all, I'm a recovering workaholic. That's the first thing, right? This addiction comes into my genetics. But the other thing was I used to go to pokie venues. I'm sitting there, and this is a day, I'm going to finish this story really quick. I found myself going to my jobs, in between times, at my lunchtime, before work, after work, I would go and play the pokies, and I would sit there and have my coffee. I didn't drink really much then, and just numb myself out. Just do. And I remember one day, it was quite insidious because I was working in this place for my full-time at the pasta place, full-time job. And instead of going to work, I went and, because they would open 24-hour places here. I'm thinking, oh, I'm so bored. I'm so numbed out. This relationship wasn't really working. So I went, I'm just going to go and drop a quick $50 at the pokie place on my way to work. Now, I ended up winning all this money. Like I said, get off the table, get out of the room. But no, I didn't. I stayed there the whole day, and that money just went down and down and down, along with my self-esteem, along with my willpower to change anything. The guilt came in, just feeling really shitty about the choices I've made, and it was this spiral. It was the spiral. But that's not the worst of it. What happened was I missed going to work that day, and my partner rang work looking for me and said, oh, where is she, blah, blah, blah. And I had a cell phone back then. They were about this big, right, those big brick things. Anyway, he was ringing me and I was not answering it. And so I went to my second job after that. So I finished the day there, lost all my money, went into my second job, which was actually at a pokie venue, right? I worked part-time in a pokie venue. They were smoky. They were like, I was emptying ashtrays and making tea for everybody and drinks, and Talk about service on steroids, right? And it was awful. So here was I, a pokey addict, working in a pokey place, skipping work, and feeling pretty shitty. So my partner then actually rang the place and said, get on the phone. He was angry. He was always angry. Got on the phone and he said, what are you doing? Blah, blah, where have you been? And so he thought that I was having an affair. He thought that I was off having an affair, right? The cheater. And in a way I was. I absolutely was. I was doing cheating, my self-esteem with a pokey machine. So there's that addiction. And so I had so much shame about it. I ended up going home. He was in the other room. I slept in the spare bedroom. And I thought, frick, I've got to deal with this in the morning. So I woke up, explained the situation, and it went okay, right? It went okay. It was just that wake-up call that I needed. Here's me in a pokey venue, kind of sneaking out at certain times of the night, just so I could numb out the reality of what I was living. So can you relate to a certain time in your life that you've been through this, this challenge? We'll just say a challenge, right? And so what happened, I actually got some therapy. I went to one session, cried my eyes out, woke up and just went, I'm never going to do this again. And I never have. I just had to change. First of all, I had to change it didn't change my environment, but my thought pattern, right? My thought pattern. Why am I doing this? And then when I got my hands read, many years later, I think it was like almost 10 years later, one of my life lessons is numbness, victimization, and shame. Right? Just one of them. That's just one of them. Now, your lessons do not always have to show up like that. When you're not listening to them, you don't see them coming and you're not conscious of them, they will show up like that. But how I flip that around, so there's a good point. Was that the way I flipped that around, it started off being a victim. Oh, I don't, nobody listens to me. I'm just going to go along with this person and set up shop or set up home with him. I didn't really know him. And then, I don't have any friends. So I'm feeling like a victim, right? Then I'm going into numbness. Go to the poker machines. Those things mesmerize you, right? They mesmerize you. Thank goodness there was no online gambling back then. Oh gosh, okay. So they mesmerize, they put you into this state up here. You don't feel, you don't communicate with anyone. You're just in your own zone, numbing everything out. Now you can choose numbing, wine, work, sugar, Netflix, anything like that. And so numbed out, and then the shame come up. Now the shame is, that vibration is so low, right? So working through all those. Now I'm going to teach you how to flip that. So the opposite of that, oh excuse me, I'm just going to blow my nose. The opposite of that is being the master of your passions. Now it's really, that's a big flip around. You're like, what does she mean, being the master of my passion? So when you have this life lesson of being the victim, having shame and numbness, and there's always the other side of that. And the other side of that is to be the passionate advocate. So you need something that is bigger than yourself to get off that couch, get out of that pokey venue, and, and get that fire back in you. Find the thing that gives you passion. So for me, it was going on this whole self-development, right? I wanted to learn why I did that, right? Why things aren't working for me right now. What is my true purpose? And so I flipped that around. So that passion became learning things and putting them in place, meeting different types of people that I wanted to be. And so that lesson really can show up for me is that I work with people who also have a similar lesson, right? Maybe they're feeling like the victim and numbing out and not being in reality of what they want. It's that wake-up call. So I hope that makes sense. That wasn't as bad as I thought. I think the more times you tell your story, the easier it becomes, because the shame piece, there's no shame of being vulnerable at all. And again, you choose and pick. It's actually coming out in my book, but that's not published yet. So you can use these lessons to actually really put into your work. So for instance, another one of my lessons is out of sync with the family, like the black sheep. Hello, Teresa. Good. The black sheep. So that shows up. It's a left thumb lesson. Now it shows that up as, I don't feel part of this family. I don't feel part of this community. Who are these parents? Who are these sisters? I just feel different. Now, the master path of that, to flip into that, to use that, is you are here to actually create your own community. Okay, here to create your own community. You find the other black sheep or the lone wolf, right? So you find them and you build your own tribe. Okay, so that is the flip around of that. That all feel challenging, right? Depending on what you have. And you might be sitting there going, oh, I wonder if I've got that lesson or this lesson. And that's the power of finding out what they are and how to move through those. So when I bring those together, just those two lessons, and this is how, right on your page, it's on page 11, how to flip the 3 keys to your message. So my message is to live your passion in your community. Sorry, my flipping that message, because I feel like the black sheep, I found my community, I know who my people are. I still feel like, people with this lesson will go, they'll go into different communities. They go, oh, this is my community, I like this. Or they may be in different, many communities, and then they'll go, okay, I'm done here, I'm going to go over here. If it's your lesson, you are here to create your own, and you'll attract the same people, right? And so to be the passionate advocate for community. I'm very passionate about healers, and I bring healers together, and I think the world needs more healers, right? That's just not all of it, but that's how it fits. Okay, so going to page 11, you're here to flip your message, flip your lesson, right? The second one here, embrace your shadow. Embrace your shadow, or embrace your life lesson. And then the third one is your mess is your message. Your mess is your message. So there's a piece in here down the bottom. Your story is important. I have lots of different stories. I know you've got lots of different stories, and I'm not saying you need to publish them all out there, but it's a little challenge. We learn by storytelling. The art of storytelling is a big thing if you're running a business, right? So the art of storytelling. So write down one story in that page there, and you don't have to share it with us. It's just putting it on paper, handwriting it out, gets it out onto here, and you can see it, and it comes up to your conscious, and then you can put it into your purpose. So the way through to my purpose, or to your purpose, is just gonna someone's getting breakfast. So the way through to the purpose of being of service, my purpose is to be of service, right? Is to really help other people become the advocate, to work through that addiction, that victimization, the shame, and to flip that around. So I would love to know yours. If you're brave, you can private message me, all good. I'm not going to publish it on here, but again, we have to bring these up. It can be a little bit painful, but once it's up, right? You can journal it. So I think I'm going to leave it for today. Was there any kind of questions? I'm just going to check. I'm going to check being a mum. Okay. Yes, Joanne, I'm sure you do have healing hands. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to read all of these and comment on them. And seeing your intentions, right? Seeing your intentions, building your intentions here. So I'm going to leave it for now. Coming back now, your homework. Let me get your homework. Your homework is, let me see. Where is your homework? I made a lovely, lovely image for you. So, yeah, let me see your homework. So again, the homework's going to be in the guides. If you can put it up in the guides, that would be great. It just helps Jamie find them. Yeah, okay. So the homework today, and I'll put it up in the guide, is what challenge have you been through that you can now see as a gift? What challenge? And I said you don't have to write your challenge down, but for the homework you do. Like it could be what's another challenge? It could be I don't charge, I'm really bad at charging people money, right? I'm really bad at charging people money. That's a challenge. That self-worth is a challenge. And so the gift of that is that I can see value in other things, right? Money is not, I love money. We all love money. We love the energy of money and what it can do for you. And so abundance is everywhere. But can you see how you can see the challenge of that? Some might have, you had a challenge at school. You had a shitty teacher, right? So she didn't listen to you, or she made you feel ashamed in front when you got up to do your speech. And the challenge of that is now that you can nurture people to speak, right? You can to speak their truth, because you were pushed down. I mean, I know somebody personally who that happened to, is why I'm bringing that up. So share with us, what is the challenge? What was your challenge? And tomorrow we're going to go over why the lines in your hands can lead you to more connection to others and strengthen your most important relationships, our heart lines. We're going to talk about heart lines tomorrow. So one last thing before I go. So I'm going to put the homework up, your biggest challenge, and how you see that as a gift. Fingerprints never change. The fingerprints never change. They're your soul's contract. The lines in your hands can change, because you can change the way you think, the way you feel. You can it's what's that, neurons. These lines are a mirror of your neural pathways, okay? Your neural pathways. So neurons that fire together, right? So you can change things any time. So we're going to go over your heart line, this line here. I'm going to show you the 4 different types, what they mean, what challenges can come up with them, and how you can integrate them into your life. So if you want to turn your biggest success blockers into your biggest paydays, go to the lesson. Go to your challenges. Okay, until tomorrow, beautiful ones, I will see you. The replay will be up instantly after this. And #replay, any questions. And if you're interested in getting into the hot seat with me, let me know. Post below too. Okay, bye for now.